Hutchinson-Gilford Progeria Syndrome, Genetic Disorder Project. What type of disorder is this? Hutchinson-Gilford Progeria Syndrome is an extremely rare, progressive genetic disorder. It causes children to age rapidly, starting in their first 2 years of life. Children with progeria generally appear healthy at birth. The genetic mutation occurs randomly and isn't inherited. There is no cure for progeria, but medications may alleviate symptoms or delay progression. Does it occur in boys, girls, or both? HGPS is more prevalent in boys. Boys are more frequently affected than girls, and the intellect of the affected children is unimpaired. The gender ratio is about 1.5 boys for every girl. For many years, it was thought that HGPS does not run in families. Is there any research being searched regarding identifying HGPS? Yes. Since 2003, with the discovery of the progeria gene mutation in the progerin protein that causes the disease, one of the key areas of research has focused on understanding whether and how progeria and aging are linked. Jonathan Hutchinson discovered it in 1886, but the disease was poorly understood. In 2003, a group of French researchers discovered point mutations in the ELNA genes. Progeria, a laminopathy, was caused by the mutation of lamine A, which, encoded by the ELNA gene, support the protein complexes that help keep the cell nucleus stable and the genomes intact. However, when lamina undergoes mutation, it causes destabilization of the nucleus and DNA damage, ultimately leading to the aging effects. Has progress been made to assist those who may suffer from Hutchinson-Gilford Progeria Syndrome? Till now, clinical management of HGPS has largely relied on the treatment of manifestations and on the prevention of secondary complications. Cure for the disease has not yet been established. Addressing this need cannot only benefit progeria patients, but may also provide insights into intervention designed for combating physiological aging by using the systematic review approach. This article revisits the overall progress in the development of strategies for HGPS treatment over the last 10 years, from 2010 to 2019. Symptoms. Symptoms such as slow growth and hair loss begin to appear in the first year or two of life. They develop a characteristic facial appearance, including prominent eyes, a thin nose with a beak tip, thin lips, a small chin, and protruding ears. Hutchinson-Gilford Progeria Syndrome also causes hair loss, alopecia, aged-looking skin, joint abnormalities, and a loss of fat under the skin, subcutaneous fat. People may experience developmental short stature, mouth, delayed tooth development or failure of teeth to develop normally, skin, wrinkles or dryness, also common, enlarged head, hearing loss, high-pitched voice, incomplete sexual maturation, loss of muscle, or osteoarthritis. Relation to any particular gene. Hutchinson-Gilford Progeria Syndrome is a rare human genetic disorder linked with a subset of specific mutations in the ELNA gene, coding for lamine A and lamine C proteins. Progeria is caused by the mutation ELNA, pronounced lamine A gene. The ELNA protein provides structural support to the cell nucleus. When mutated, the ELNA protein produces nuclear instability that leads to premature aging. Affected persons commonly die from heart disease during late childhood. Is Hutchinson-Gilford Progeria Syndrome presented as a dominant or recessive trait? HGPS is an extremely rare, severe genetic condition. It is an autosomal dominant disorder. It is not seen in siblings of affected children, although there are very few case reports of progeria affecting more than one child in a family. Autosomal dominant is a pattern of inheritance characteristic of some genetic disorders. Autosomal means that the gene in question is located on one of the numbered or non-sex chromosomes. Dominant means that a single copy of the mutated gene from one parent is enough to cause the disorder. Is one sex more likely to carry Hutchinson-Gilford Progeria Syndrome than the other? Its incidence was estimated to be 1 per 8 million live births in the United States. Male to female ratio is about 1.5 to 1. Are there any cures for Hutchinson-Gilford Progeria Syndrome? There's no cure for progeria, but regular monitoring for heart and blood vessel disease may help with managing your child's condition. Could a person's genealogy help in determining likelihood of passing on to the next generation when having Hutchinson-Gilford Progeria Syndrome? Can you be a carrier for progeria? Unlike many genetic mutations, progeria isn't passed down in families. Rather, the gene change is a chance occurrence that researchers believe affects a single sperm or egg just before conception. Neither parent is a carrier, so the mutations in the child's genes are new. However, once you have a child with progeria, there's a 2% to 3% higher chance of having another child with it. That's because of a condition called mosaicism. With mosaicism, a small proportion of a parent's cells carry the genetic mutation for progeria, but the parent doesn't have the disease. Is there any data that demonstrates any progress in HGPS? The study follows another recent milestone for progeria research, as the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved the first treatment for progeria in November 2020, a drug called lonafarnib. The drug therapy provides some life extension, but it is not a cure.